The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right.
Morning, Arsene. The Europa League draw was made yesterday. Can we just get your reaction to being drawn against Östersund in the last 32?
Well, they have done very well. The Swedish team, I think we finished 5th in the championship. They are now on a break. And looking at their results in Europe, they've done well, so we'll have to prepare properly. At the moment, I cannot tell you much more about them because I don't know them very well. But I think it's 15th and 22nd of February, something like that, so we have some time to study them much better.
You've actually been the manager here longer than they've existed as a club, which I imagine is quite a strange feeling for you. Just shows how remarkable their rise has been through the Swedish divisions under English manager Graham Potter.
Yeah, they have an English manager who has done extremely well. And so you see that they can come back after they go abroad now to show their quality, and we give them an opportunity in Europe as well to show their quality and to come back certainly later to England.
Moving on to tomorrow night's game against West Ham, can we just have your latest team news?
Well, from Mustafi will not be back, and we lost Ramsey against Southampton. He will not be available for tomorrow's game. Everybody else looks, of course, apart from long-term injuries, everybody else looks available. We have the tests this morning to see how they recovered.
And finally from me, West Ham have had a tough start to this season, but recent performances against Chelsea and Manchester City as well show that this could still be a tricky test.
It will be, because they were unlucky against City, and they rebuilt some confidence certainly against Chelsea. So it will be certainly a game with the West Ham team who is more confident and more dangerous as well.
Good morning, Arsene. Thanks for your time. You say no Mustafi. You were last week hoping you might be available for this game. Is it more than you thought in terms of the difficulty?
A little bit longer. He's out in training, running, but not playing yet. So the medical staff has decided that he's not completely ready. Will he be ready for Saturday, maybe, against Newcastle? Yes.
And in terms of Aaron, have you got a prognosis for him, the length of injury?
Hamstring, normally a short period, but not the big one.
Talk about the confidence boost that West Ham will, of course, have had from that victory over Chelsea, but also will it have taken a lot out of them?
Well, they had 24 hours more recovery than us, you know, so if it has taken a little bit more out of them, they have a big advantage on that front. So we cannot speculate that physically they will suffer. Maybe in the third game, I don't think tomorrow.
Is it the Moyes effect? Are you surprised that he's having this effect on the team?
No, not at all. You know, first of all, I think they had a good manager before with Bilic, who has done an excellent job, and but at some stage it depends on confidence, on injuries, and Moyes has big experience to build them up again, and he has shown that recently. So I'm not surprised. He has a big experience in the Premier League.
A year ago, around about a year ago anyway, same fixture, you won it 5-1. You'd go for similar this time, I'm sure.
Look, for us, we try to win the game, and no matter how big the win will be, it will be welcome. But at the time, West Ham was a bit short of confidence, and we took advantage of it.
Are you concerned by the goals conceded away from home? In the calendar year 2017, only West Ham, Stoke and Watford have conceded more than Arsenal away from home.
Yes, of course. But we are as well an attacking team, so it depends as well how many goals you score, you know. And overall, we want to improve our defensive record, of course. But we just come back from Southampton, where you have seen how difficult it is. We had 70% possession. The team stay at the back, try to get you on the break, and refuse to play. So if you accept the gamble to play, you have to be very cautious to defend very quickly when you lose the ball. But football has changed a little bit because the teams are physically better prepared. Accept to defend only, you know, what was not the case 10 years ago. And you said about West Ham, they just lost at City. Southampton just lost at City in the last minute. So it is very difficult for everybody.
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has always been referred to as the super sub, but Olivier Giroud has now scored as many goals from the bench for one club as the sub.
Yeah, that's
your super sub. Do you talk to him about
no, he's not a sub for me. He's a very regular player, but I have plenty of good strikers, and you cannot play all of them together.
Do you speak to him though about the lack of starts? Does he come to you and express concern about it?
Look, I speak to all my players, but it's very difficult to speak about what we talk about openly, you know.
Oh, go on.
Yeah, you would love that. You know enough already, you know.
But suffice to say, he's an important player.
He's a very important player, and I have big respect, and I'm an admirer of Olivier Giroud. And I think if you look at his career, since he came here, look how many French caps he got since he's at Arsenal Football Club. I think he has not wasted his time. I can understand every frustration of every player who doesn't play, but as well, that's part of the job when you go to a big club.
Your former captain, Mikel Arteta, nursing a bit of an eye injury, it would seem. Have you got to the...
I heard about that, but I haven't seen anything, you know, and it's part of the incident. Sometimes that can happen in big derbies. In fact, you are always very good, the press, because you build these things up like it's life or death, and when something happens after, you're surprised. That's part of the intensity, of the importance of the game. Sometimes it can go a bit overboard. It happened to us, it happened to them. And it's unfortunate, but ideally you would commit 100%, 200% on the pitch and be an angel after. But it is not always the case.
But of course the fans want to see that kind of passion from the players.
Yeah, of course. But you want the passion be on the football pitch.
Is there, though, do you think, a level you can go to with your celebrations, for example, leaving the dressing room door open? Is that something that's maybe provoking a bit of...
I don't know what happened really, you know. It is difficult to take when you lose a big game to see the 100% celebration on the other side. It's always like experience a little bit like an offense. And that's why when I was in Japan, I admired Sumo, because in Sumo, you never can tell the guy who wins. He doesn't show his happiness because of respect for his opponent, you know. And that shows how deep the culture is there, of the respect for each other. And is it something we can copy? I don't think so, because it's not part of our culture.
Copy the wrestling maybe, but not the respect.
Good morning, Arsene. Mesut Ozil reports today that Arsenal offered him a new contract to sign and stay on. I mean, is there any truth in that?
Look, negotiations are always going on with everybody. Is it people who are 2 years to go, 1 year to go, or 3 months to go? Our door is always open, and for the rest, I cannot tell you much more.
Yeah, obviously, you are desperate to keep him and Sanchez.
We are, I said that many times, you know, and at the moment, that's all we can say.
Christian Benteke took a penalty on Saturday for Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
He wasn't the designated penalty taker. I just wondered, has that ever happened in your club? I mean, I presume you have a guy who goes on the pitch who knows he's the penalty taker.
Yeah.
And if it has, how would you deal with that as an experienced manager?
Well, we name the penalty takers in order, you know. Sometimes the number one can be out and the number two takes, but sometimes it can happen with the players. You have to leave a certain freedom as well to the players. The player is number one who doesn't want to take it, who doesn't feel that he is full in confidence. You have to accept that the number two takes it. And yes, but the penalty is a penalty. No matter who you name, you can miss it, and you have to accept it. And all the biggest players in the world have missed penalties.
I mean, apart from the incident with Henri and Pires.
Yeah, that's. When you ask that question, that's the first thing that came to my mind. That was not planned.
No, I didn't think it was. Finally, you're playing West Ham twice in a week. Tomorrow at London Stadium, then next week at the Emirates in the League Carabao Cup. Does that make it more difficult tomorrow to have a plan? And
no, it's just the next game is the most important in a big club, because that's what you want to achieve and to win. We just come out of a difficult game at Southampton, and we have to prepare mentally to face another one tomorrow night.
Just a couple quickly, Arsene. Last two league games conceded early goals, 2 against United, against Southampton. Does that concern you at all?
Look, I felt that the goals we conceded at Southampton was a bit a consequence of Man United. Were a bit apprehensive and not confident enough to go into the game, and so we have not to make too much a problem of it, because we scored as well late, so Southampton could make a problem of the fact that we scored late. It's part of it. We have certainly didn't start with enough confidence.
Antonio Conte spoke at the weekend about burnout, players being tired. The drill in the league, so to speak. How do you protect your squad from that?
I think today the players, considering 20 years or 30 years ago, the players have better surrounding on a scientific way. They are better controlled, so we give them all the medical assistance we can, all the technical assistance we can. We have a lot of scientists now around the team who protect them well. But there's as well a mental burnout, because the competition every 3 days at that intensity demands a lot of energy as well, and the players are under huge pressure today, and the resistance to stress is a big part of it, and I think it's more a mental burnout most of the time than players who do not really respond to expectations of themselves and question themselves, lose confidence, and have problems to deal with the intensity of the demands they have for themselves.
Just one more quickly on Giroud. Obviously, with it being a World Cup year and playing for France for him is obviously important. Can you understand why he's really looking to start more games and play more? Can you see why he wants?
Yes, of course, but that's we had. First of all, he played many games, much more than people speak about, and he had more minutes played since the start of the season than Lacazette, for example. And so that's not always well known. But on the other hand, when you're at a big club, we have many strikers, nobody can guarantee that you will play.
You've spoken very positively about him again today, Giroud, but he has talked about potentially leaving next month. Can you rule that out, that he could go next month?
I read that. It's not exactly what he said, so that's always the way you can interpret that. Personally, I want him to stay at the club until the end of the season, and then we see.
He has played a lot of minutes, but he hasn't started a league game. Is that maybe why he's a bit concerned, because he wants to play in the Premier League, starting the Premier League?
Of course, but I can give you 10 more cases, every player who doesn't play wants to start in the Premier League. That's absolutely normal. And when you have 3 games like we have this week, in the 6 days, there's an opportunity for some of them to start.
Do you think you will rotate a couple tomorrow?
I have not made that decision completely, so I will have to look first of all how some players have recovered, you know. We look at how much energy they spend, how they recover, and after I make my decisions as well, adding to that the balance of the team.
Just to clarify on Ozil, you were asked earlier about the contract. Has a final offer been made to those two players, Ozil and Sanchez?
I don't want to talk about that because the best way to deal with these kind of things is to keep it as discreet as possible.
So it's not got to take it or leave it?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.